Hey folks, welcome back. We're going to talk about contribution margin in this video. So the definition of contribution margin is it's the difference between net sales revenue and our variable cost. Okay, so after we get the definition down, let's talk about what we've been doing on the income statement. So we have a traditional income statement. It's sales minus cost of goods sold equals gross profit minus selling expenses minus admin expenses gives us net income. So that's what you're used to doing. And that's what we use when we present financial statements to external users. Internally, we want a different format for our income statement so that we can make better decisions on our products. Excuse me. So this is called the contribution format income statement. And all we're doing is we're taking the cost of goods sold and the selling expenses and the administrative expenses, not gross profit, just those three costs, and we're separating them into their variable components and their fixed components. So the net income on the two income statements is going to be identical no matter how you fix it. So we're going to, for the contribution format income statement, we're going to take sales minus variable cost equals contribution margin minus fixed cost equals net income. So I've learned over the years that if I take the time to prepare my contribution format income statement with a column for units, a column for price, a column for dollars, and a column for percentages, then I am less likely to make a mistake. And on problems where I have to solve for an unknown, I can take the relationships among the data and I can always find that unknown. So I want you to get in the habit of setting up your contribution format income statement with a column for units, price, dollars, and percent. Okay, so let's just walk through how the math works on it real quick. I'm assuming that I'm going to sell 100 units at $10 a piece for a total of $1,000. Sales is always 100%, period. No questions asked. My variable cost, if I sell 100 units, I have to figure out the variable cost for 100 units and the contribution margin for 100 units. So whatever the sales are, these other units are going to be the same amount. So in this case, I'm going to assume variable costs are $2 or $200 per unit, $200 for the total, and 20%, which is 200 divided by 1,000. Contribution margin, the 10 minus the 2 gives me 8 times 100 is $800, which is 80%. So 800 divided by 1,000 is 80%. That percentage is called the contribution margin ratio, contribution margin percentage. I think that they call it contribution margin ratio more often in the textbooks. Subtract the fixed cost, and that gives us what our net income is. Okay, now that we have all this, we want to play with it, and we want to tweak it, and we want to do sensitivity analysis on it, and we want to figure out what we can do to improve our company and make good planning decisions with this. So the overall concept is called cost volume profit, which is a planning tool that looks at the relationships among the cost and the volume and how they affect profits and losses. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be changing pieces of the income statement and see what it does to the profit. Okay, we start that process by computing a break-even point. So break-even is where net income equals 0. So if I look at my income statement and I put it into a mathematical formula, I'm going to have sales minus variable cost minus fixed cost equals net income of 0. Okay, if I want to know how many units it takes to sell to break even, I need to work with dollars. Contrary, if I want my answer in how many sales dollars do I need to break even, then I'm going to use percentages in my formula, and it's these percentages right here. Okay, so let's use dollars first. So my sales price is $10 per unit, my fixed cost is $500, my variable cost is $2 per unit, and my profit at break even is 0. So take the 2, subtract it from both sides, we get $8 per unit, which happens to be our contribution margin, and $500 fixed cost. So 500 divided by $8 is 62.5 units. Okay, shortcut. If I take 62.5 units, multiply it by my $10 price, I get 625 sales dollars. Well, that's easy enough. But let's go ahead and do the math to get there. My sales are 100% of X. $500 is still my fixed cost. My variable cost percentage is 20% of X, and profit is still 0. So 100 minus 20 is 80%, which is our contribution margin percentage, and we set that equal to $500. So 500 divided by 0.8 is going to give me 625. Okay? You know what? I love this stuff because it's fun to work, because I had a great algebra teacher in high school, and all it is algebra. So I want to prove that I'm right, because I like to be right, and I can do that every time with this. So I'm going to set up my format for my contribution format income statement. I'm going to plug in my 62.5 units, my $10, $2, and $8, run the math, subtract the fixed cost. Lo and behold, net income is 0. Okay, now let's play with it in another way. Let's come up with, but we want to make a profit of $1,000. How do we do that? How much do we have to sell to do that? So let's put in our formula. If we want it in units, we're going to do dollars. If we want it in let's try again. That's right. We use dollars in our formula. If we want sales dollars in our answer, we're going to put percentages in our formula. So 10x equals 500 plus 2x plus 1,000 for our profit. So 8x equals 1,500. So take 1,500 divided by $8 and we get 187.5 units. Okay, generally we're going to round up to 188 units, but just for teaching purposes, I'm going to leave it just like it is. I believe in your book they also talk about a shortcut method where instead of the long formula, you simply take the fixed cost dollars, 1,500, divide it by the contribution margin dollars, which is 8, to get the units. So I learned the long formula. I'm going to get confused if I don't do the long formula, so I'm going to do the long formula every time. Just because I like it, it makes sense, and I understand it. Okay, again, I can do a shortcut. 187.5 times $10 gives me $18.75 in sales dollars. But if I do the percentages and the long formula, 100% of X equals 500 plus 20% of X plus 1,000. So 80% equals 1,500. So 1,500 divided by 0.8 will give me the 1875. And again, I'm going to prove it because I like being right. So sales, I'm going to plug in my 187.5 units, plug in my prices, work the math, subtract my fixed cost. Lo and behold, I've got net income of $1,000. I guess I did it right. Okay. So we can figure out what the break-even is. We can figure out how much we have to sell to get a profit. Now, let's look at if we're the manager or the owner, and we've got two different people coming to us with a proposal for how we can make our company better. And I don't have all the money in the world to fund both proposals. So we need to look at each different proposal and see who's is going to make more money for the company. So you might have the advertising man coming in and saying, if we spend more money on advertising, we can increase sales by this much. You might have a production man saying, I figured out a way to cut our variable cost. If we cut our variable cost and make more units, I think we can do this. So you need to figure out, as the manager or the owner, what you're going to do and which one you're going to go with. So you're going to do a sensitivity analysis, and you can change any variable in this formula. You can change the sales price, you can change the number of units, you can change the variable cost, you can change the fixed cost. Any of those variables can be changed. So I'm just going to show you an example with one variable. Alright, what is the new break-even if the sales price is increased by $2, but we have no change in variable cost or fixed cost? Okay, so sales becomes $12 now. $500 stays the fixed cost and $2 stays the variable cost with zero profit. So 500 divided by 10 gives us 50 units. 50 units times the new price of $12 is 600 sales dollars. Okay, so let's prove that that's right. 100% of X equals 500. Oh, look, we're not at 20% anymore because our sales price went up, our variable cost stayed the same, so the variable cost percentage actually went down, and our contribution percentage went up, contribution margin percentage. So we've got to remember to use the new percentages in this formula. So 83% of X equals 500. 500 divided by 0.83 gives us $600, and we can run the numbers and do the proof. Lo and behold, we are right again. Love it. So we can do a sensitivity analysis or a what-if analysis with a change in any variable. You just simply go through the same process. And again, I want to emphasize that I want you to set up the contribution format income statement like this with a column for units, price, dollars, and percent. It's going to seem like a lot of work at first, but later on it's going to save you a ton of time. So just do the work and then plug it into the software. You'll be good to go. Okay, I hope you have learned something in this. I've enjoyed presenting it for you, and I'll be back with another video. Okay, bye.